Hey everybody, I have something awesome to share with you today, and so we're just going to jump right into it. What we're going to do is look at how to create an image map using HTML on a Canvas page. And what that is you can see I have two images here. One is a map, or one is a guide showing the mapped out areas on the image. And so what I want to highlight is that I have a circle and a rectangle and then a polygon. And these elements are hyperlinked on the image itself. And so here's the image, and when I click on one of these elements, like the circle, it'll take me to whatever link I have associated there. In this case, it's another page in my Canvas course. And likewise, if I click on the rectangle, you can see the mouse cursor. It changes from a pointy arrow to the pointing finger with the hand, and that indicates that that area is hyperlinked. And so you can see the edge of the hyperlinked area. And so it looks like this image is hyperlinked. And when I click on that, then we get our Rickroll. Now the image is just a regular image, but then I have some HTML code that goes on the page that says this part of the page is actually going to be hyperlinked. And let's take a look at the behind the scenes and look at the code. So on the edit screen, I'm going to hop over to the HTML editor and we're going to take a look at that. So I have my regular image, that's the first image, that's just the map, and then I have some text. And then I have an image, and this image is just the regular image that I uploaded into Canvas, only I added some special code, which is useMap equals, and then I called the map #desk, and then later on I defined the map area. And so here I have map, the name is desk, and I could name that whatever I want. It could be picture, or it could be studio, whatever I wanted. And then I have certain parts of the map hyperlinked. One of the areas is a rectangle. That would be the canvas part of the page on the desk. And the other is called circle. The shape is a circle, and that would be the color palette. And then I have a polygon with a whole bunch of different coordinates, and that would be me outlining the chair. And so I create these areas. I create an area that's a rectangle. I define the coordinates, and then I have an href saying, when you click on that area, what happens? In this case, it goes to a certain page in my Canvas course. And likewise, I have a circle, and we're going to talk about how you get those coordinates. And when you click on the circle, then it takes you to a different page in Canvas. And that could take you to email, it could take you to the internet, like a blog post or a journal article, or it could even take you to a different place within Canvas. And so all of this code is what I need to create my map of the image. And the image, I just say that we're going to use this map, and so it corresponds. And so now I just have to find these coordinates. And in order to do that, you're going to want to have some kind of image editing software. I'm going to use Photoshop. You could use GIMP. You can use anything that gives you the pixel value of the image, because what we need is to determine the pixels. So let's start with the rectangle, because that's going to be the easiest. Essentially, what you need to know is the top left corner and the bottom right corner. And so the four values are essentially the left side, the top, the right side, and then that bottom edge right there. And so in Photoshop, how I'm going to do that is I'm going to go ahead and drag the ruler from the side, and I'm going to make a note. This is about 204. And I'm going to write that down, and then I'm going to grab the top edge right here. And it doesn't have to be precise, but that's about 20. So it's 20 pixels down. And let me say that this isn't a grid like the quadrant grid if you teach geometry. What you're looking at is the top left corner, how many pixels on the x-axis is the left edge. So we're looking at about 204 pixels from the left corner. From the top would be 0, and then how many pixels down is that top edge going to be? And so we're about 20 pixels down. And now I need to find the right side. So from the left side, which would be 0 pixels, I need to go all the way to the right edge, and that looks like it's about 460 or so. So I'm just going to write 460, and then I'm going to pull this from the bottom right here, and that's about 205 or so. So I went ahead and wrote those just on a post-it note, and I wrote the 4 coordinates that I grabbed there. Okay, now let's hop back over to Canvas. I'm going to upload that new picture. So I'm going to go ahead and click on upload. And I have one called desk, and I specified that it's 600 pixels wide. That's the one that we were looking at a moment ago. I don't want to use the high resolution one. I'm going to scale it down a little bit and work with a smaller image. Okay, so now I have my smaller image, and we're going to start creating the map for this image. You know, in the code, I still have my map right here. I need to put in the coordinates, and then in the image with this new image that we just created, I need to put use map equals, and then the name of the map that I just created with a hashtag. So hashtag desk, because that's what I'm calling the map. So I'm saying use the map that is called desk, and then I have a map right here. This map is called desk, and so that way they connect with each other. And so we've already determined the area of the rectangle. I just need to replace these values. So x1 would be that left edge, and I have 204 written down. y1 I have 20 written down, and then I have 460 for the right edge, and then the bottom would be 205. And then you'd want to put the href. That would be whatever place you want, whatever you want to have happen when they click on this hyperlinked part of the map. So now let's find the area for the circle. We're going to hop back over here. So I have these guides for the canvas, the square, the rectangle right there. And now I need to find the coordinates for the circle. So I'm just going to eyeball it. I don't know that I need to be so precise, but I'm going to say it looks like about 113. And now I need to find the y-axis. So I'm going to drag this down, and it looks like somewhere in the neighborhood of 106. And then I need to find the radius. So if I have the center point, I just need to find the distance to the edge. And so I'm going to grab one of these guys and put it to the edge. So that looks like about 31 or so. So that would give us a radio of about 75 or so. So I'm going to write that down. So now I have my three variables. This is the post-it note that I'm using to write down all of this information. I'm going to hop back over to the canvas and then replace these values, the coordinates. So I have x equals 113, y I have as 106, and then the radius would be 75. So now I have a rectangle, I have a circle, all mapped out on this image. Now I'm going to do a polygon. Polygon would be x1, y1, x2, y2. So I'm going to have to create lots of different points on the map. And this is kind of fun, also kind of complicated. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to zoom in slightly. And then in Photoshop on the keyboard, I'm going to hit F8, and that's going to give me the X and the Y values. If you see highlighted right there, that would be the X and the Y. And so I'm just going to start with this little tip right here, and I'm going to write down, so that looks like 217 on the X-axis, 255 on the Y-axis. Let's actually, in the previous example, I just did the big part of the chair. Let's actually include those spindles as well. So I'm going to find a point right here. 226 and 258, and now I'm going to come up here to this point and write down that coordinate, 235 and 239. And I'm going to speed up the film a little bit, but I'm just going to find all of these little coordinates and map them out. Okay, I'm back. So I went around and I actually grabbed a whole lot of coordinates and just went around the chair and marked all of the X and the Y, and then moved on to the next spot, X and Y, and these are the values that I came up with. So it's a lot. It doesn't matter if you're so precise, you know, I don't think. It just depends. So now all I need to do is put on all these X's and Y's in the coordinates here. So give me a moment and I will put those in. Okay, now I'm back. I put in the coordinates and then I double checked them, just kind of eyeballed. And so it looks like we have our three areas. We have a rectangle over here, and then we have the href. What happens when you click on the rectangle? Where do you go? In this case, you go into a page within Canvas. And I do have some alt text, but that's really just for my own benefit rather than anything related to accessibility. And then the last thing I'll point out is I have target equals and then underscore blank within the quotation marks. And that just means when they click on it, instead of going to the page, it'll take them to a new tab and then go to the page. And then I have that target for each of those. So whenever they click on any of those, then it'll take them there. So just looking over everything, it looks like we have the image with the use map equals and then the name of the map that we're going to use. And we have the image, obviously. And then I did put some alt text there. And next we have the map. Now the map doesn't have to go right behind the image. I think Canvas by default is going to push it to the bottom of the page. And this is just HTML content saying that this space is going to be mapped out. and it's the image that says refer to this map. I could have like 5 different types of maps if I wanted to, and then 5 images, and they could each be linked to a different map. So in that case, the repository of all these maps would probably just be at the bottom of the page. So looking it over, we have the map, we've named our map, and the name is the same as the used map up in the image. And then I have a rectangle, I have a circle, I have a polygon, I have all of my coordinates for each of these shapes, and then I have the action item, what happens when the student clicks on the part of the map, and I have it going to a different page. So let's go ahead and save that, and we'll go ahead and play around with the map. So when I click on this, then you can see that it's mapped out. You look at my cursor, and the cursor changes when I hover over the part of the map that's active. So this is hyperlinked. Once again, we get rickrolled, and then these other parts of the map are also hyperlinked to their pages. And let's go ahead and zoom in. I'm going to zoom way in so that we can look at the bottom and just look at the cursor changing. So look at all the coordinates. I started with a coordinate here, and then I went to that corner of the chair, and then I went up to this corner of the table, and it's just a straight line till we get to that corner. And I just went along the edges and mapped some of the coordinates. And so you can see my cursor as it hovers over the chair, then, it's all mapped out. In fact, if you wanted to, as you're mapping it out, you could even not go to the edge, but you could go expand it so that the clickable area is a little bit bigger than the image. It's just up to you. Now I want to show you a different type of application for how you could use this image map, and that would be to create a table of contents within your Canvas page. So the students, they would still interact with the elements on the page, but instead of taking them to a different page, it would take them to a place on the same page. In that sense, it's like a table of contents. So here I have a page with various sections, but I've hyperlinked out this image map so that it takes you to those sections. So I click on the palette, for example, it'll take you to this section of the page. And then I have a hyperlink to jump back up to the top of the page. And then I can click on the painting, and then it will take me to this part of the page. And then I can jump up, and if I click on the chair, then it'll take me to the bottom of the page. And see, it's all the same page, and it's lots of content on the page, but then I can use the image map to help people jump around to the different places on the Canvas page. So get creative with this. I think there's a lot of applications. It's a really interesting feature. And this is just really simple HTML that you can put anywhere on your blog posts and on the Canvas course. You could even put it in a Canvas discussion probably. So what are your ideas of how you would use something like an image map in Canvas? Let me know in the comments below. So if you want to see other tips and tricks, feel free to visit the social media where I have them listed out, or I have write-ups on howtocanvas.com. You can view the blog posts where you can find videos as well as pictures and text, having me explain all these interactions with you. And as always, I would love for you to subscribe to the channel. And specifically, I want to call out David. So David, you're watching this video, and I think it's your turn to subscribe to this channel. And also Christine. So David and Christine, you're watching this channel, and definitely go ahead and hit that subscribe button. But also David and Christine, I want you to hit that notification button as well, because you don't want to miss any of this good stuff, to be honest. And if you're not David or Christine, then you should also subscribe. But specifically, I'm really looking for David and Christina's subscription. It would make all the difference in this channel. So as always, have fun with this, and until next time.
Happy Disney morning.